Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. I will ride with this group. Seriously, man. Please. And away we go.
Feedback Friday, live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Before we get to your questions, your comments, your takes, some spicy takes here, by the way. There's some stuff in here from you guys. I don't know if it's Vikings fans just kind of being pissed about the Week 18 loss, but some things going in dark directions. Like KOC is catching strays here, so we'll sort some of this stuff out.
Happens.
Not that he's above criticism, but we'll get to some of this stuff. But first, let's start our day the right way here at Quick Trip, Judd, if we could.
A place that never catches strays from the public, because the public loves my friends at Quick Trip. Because what is there not to love about a convenience store that is like a grocery store, but saves you time? Because you know what? You walk in, if you want a snack, if you want breakfast, lunch, whatever you want, Quick Trip is going to have it, including the delicious Aruba coffee as well. Quick Trip has everything that you could possibly need, including the quality gasoline guarantee. And the great thing is, if you don't want to go inside, you just put the Quick Trip app on your phone, and heck, while you're pumping gas, they'll bring your groceries out. Quick Trip, they make life so convenient that they never catch strays from the public.
Graham wants to know, did Judd get a haircut?
Yeah, a couple days ago.
The Pat Riley.
I couldn't take it anymore.
Slick back hair gone.
Well, quick story, full disclosure. So I was going to the event at Padres on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And if I don't, when my hair's that long, if I don't put some gel in, once it dries, it just falls like a bowl cut. And so I asked Dawn, I said, and I hate gel. I said, "Where's the gel?" She's like, "It's right here." So I got some. My problem is I never know how much to apply. So I put a gob on my finger, ran it through my hair, but it was too much. And so literally my hair,
Plastic
like half
head.
my hair was like plastic and the other half wasn't. And it was complete. And I'm like, okay, this is done.
What if it was more like if you use like a mousse? Not that I'm giving hair advice now.
No,
Declan should be giving hair advice. Something that makes it flow a little bit but stay in place.
Yeah, you know what? No, it's too much of a pain in the ass.
You get what I use in this luscious head of hair. Of course, is covering up my head because Deck Sweets didn't get in the shower yet this morning. I use styling wax gel, so it's a different type of gel. It feels a little bit more like gel, but it's got a little hardness to it, and it gives you a nice little curl. Gives these curl locks nice little flow. It's better because the hard gel makes you look like it, because then you have to get the Hollister pop collar, and it's 2003 again, and like you got the spiky hair, and you look like you're in the Offspring, and it doesn't give you that look.
That's exactly right. So when I do the Pat Riley look, that means I didn't shower, and I stick my head below the faucet, and then I just comb it back.
And I do that sometimes.
But if I do that and go out, it will eventually dry, and then it just falls forward.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I'm done. But I mean,
By the way,
Dex, great hair. You got great hair. I don't.
We got a bunch of different, just total YouTube production. A bunch of different styles on here now for the comments.
I just saw that.
Yeah. I kind of like
you pop these into the left side. Dex, I'm just tinkering here. I don't know how to go back to the old style now. So.
I like this, though.
Just kind of popping in on the left from Robbie B. Why doesn't Judd prioritize his fashion knowledge?
No, he said, wait, Judd doesn't. It was a shot at me that I
Judd
totally deserve.
Question marks?
Well, hey, boys, let's start with we have not talked about the big news from yesterday yet on Purple Daily, as it came out after our Thursday recordings. But, yeah, the game is moved to Glendale, Arizona. So no longer will Vikings-Rams be a straight-up home game for the Rams at SoFi, with all the tragic fires wiping out massive acreage in Los Angeles, and the air quality, the travel logistics, even just to operate an NFL football game, and the amount of emergency personnel you need, like police and everything from firefight. Like, people have to be on call for an NFL football game with 70,000 people in a stadium. Mm-hmm. A lot of those resources are tied up because of these fires. So the game gets moved to Glendale, Arizona, which, as we've kind of talked about just on social media and in our text thread, this feels like, with how many snowbirds, Minnesota, North Dakota, Iowa, a lot of Vikings fans spend time in Arizona in the winter. I've even anecdotally felt like, since this news was announced, I've seen a lot of Vikings fans talking about making trips down to Arizona. Maybe they weren't going to go to Los Angeles for this game. So it goes from being a road game for the Vikings to being a neutral site with maybe more Vikings fans in that building than Rams fans, which is kind of crazy.
I think so, yeah. So, and I actually sent our friend Seifert a note last night, and I said, what's the change fee like? Because ordinarily if there's a change fee, and he actually said it's still cheaper to go with the change fee to Arizona than to go to Los Angeles. So the reality is this: I think it's a great weekend trip, and unfortunately, the league was totally right to move this game. But the unfortunate thing is, if you're a Rams fan and you're affected by this, you're probably not going to bail and leave now. So trying to be as sensitive as possible, it's a really bad situation that works out really well, in my opinion, for the Vikings as far as where they're playing.
Yeah, I saw even, because I had some buddies that were like, who wants to go down to Arizona? And I think flights as of last night from MSP out to Phoenix were about $800 to $900. So, I mean, those now, granted, you're buying a ticket with 48 hours in advance. It's always going to be expensive, I think, regardless of that game getting moved. But in general, SoFi is not a huge home field advantage. So it's not necessarily like the Vikings are going from Lambeau to Arizona or something where it'd be all, a real road environment. But Arizona itself, there's even another stat the Rams, the Cardinals, the Patriots. There's been 4 teams that have won playoff games. So there's been Super Bowls there, and the Cardinals have 1 playoff win. So there's gonna be a 5th team since 2010 that has the same amount of wins in that stadium as the Cardinals, because obviously Arizona's been kind of a dumpster fire the last 15 years.
Yeah, no, the Cardinals just kind of a
been to a Super
kind
Bowl.
of a sad sap franchise, but yeah, they've been to a Super Bowl more recently than the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, it's hard to quibble with them.
So Clark Stewart chimes in here, and you can hit us up in the Purple Daily YouTube comment section, the feedback tab in the Score North app. Clark Stewart says, if the Vikings lose to the Rams, they should trade Kevin O'Connell. I should have braced you for this.
Yeah, I was going to say, what?
Whoa.
This is...
Whoa.
Thank you.
Speculation.
I'm telling you, man, there's some stuff in these comments this week. So now that you're properly braced, this is reckless speculation, and this is wild. He says, if the Vikings lose to the Rams, they should trade Kevin O'Connell for a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 second-round pick. So only 1 first-round pick. Oh, and then the team trading for KOC would also receive a 2024 fifth-round pick from the Vikings. You kick back.
Oh, nice little.
Well, his value would have gone way down there after this loss. So with a loss to the Rams, KOC would be 0-2 in playoff games where the Vikings were favored, and also lost a pseudo playoff game to the Lions in Week 18. So that makes it pretty much 0-3. The Vikings can use the draft capital that they gained from the trade and the free agency money that they would save from letting Sam Darnold go somewhere or tag and trading him to improve their roster. And there's several coaches that they could take over. Flores could take over. Pete Carroll, who's an older version of Kevin O'Connell. Ben Johnson, Robert Saleh, Josh McCown, plenty of options. Convince me this is a bad idea when all we want is a Super Bowl before we die. But we'll be stuck with big game loser Kevin O'Connell.
Oh, my God. First of all, that list of names, really? You want Pete Carroll now at 70-something years old?
Listen, I actually think there's a couple of teams that need to be stabilized. That if Pete's got 3 years in him, if I'm the Jets, if I'm the Bears, you could do a lot worse than Pete Carroll.
It sounds like you mean to live. If you could just make it 3 more years, Pete, we'd really appreciate you. No.
What is the average life expectancy right now for men? 78?
70-something.
He's getting close. Okay.
70-something. So you're not joking. You're like, Pete, if you could just make it 3 more years on planet Earth, we'd really appreciate it. Help stabilize our franchise before you die. No, I have no interest in no. That's not even reckless speculation. That is just off the board over. So you think because he lost to the Giants, he's won 13 games and 14 games between a 7-9 or a 7-10 season. I have no interest. I will not even entertain.
Okay, because we all agree.
No.
The trading thing is ridiculous. It's absurd. Let's lower the temperature of this take in question here And what if we just go with, sir, listen, Clark, I'm going to, executive decision here. I'm going to recraft your question. Say, if Kevin O'Connell loses a second playoff game in which the Vikings are favored, and then you got smoked week 18 against the Lions, and so the biggest games that he has coached in early, small sample size, you could say 0-3. Do you have questions about KOC in big games? Let's phrase it that way.
0-3, not yet. No. And look, I mean, if they get waxed again, like if they get, which I don't expect to happen. In fact, I think that they'll do pretty well. But anyway, if they got completely waxed and blown off the field, yes, I could revisit my opinion a little bit. But sample size wise, no, I don't. I think Kevin O'Connell has done far more good things, positive things that I think are really trending well than bad things. The Lions game was terrible. Like, there's no question about that. But the reality is, first of all, the Giants playoff game that they lost was not a terrible game by the offense. It was a very unfortunate end by the quarterback and O'Connell, whoever you want to blame for that. And the defense definitely let you down. But no, I have no interest in exploring, like, bailing on Kevin O'Connell.
No. That's
3 seasons in, or starting to question of, well, I wonder if this is the right guy. No.
Yeah, I love KOC. I think he should be the coach here regardless. And I don't think Monday's outcome is going to completely shift my thinking of him. But I will just say, for people that always defended Kirk Cousins, well, it wasn't his fault. It was the defense. It was the coach. It was the circumstance. If we're gonna do that, if Kirk defenders are gonna do that, and KOC is also gonna say, well, it wasn't KOC's fault that Ed Donatel did this defense. It wasn't KOC's fault that Darnold's throws were completely high and wide. It's just, where do we draw a line, I guess, at the excuses and where we put the blame on KOC too?
Well, yeah. Well, and by the way, there's another one here that's, I think, valid KOC criticism that we will get to. But just in terms of where they're at going into this Rams games, the Rams game and then these playoff games, most coaches, if given Sam Darnold going into the 2024 season, would not make the playoffs. And most coaches who have been given Sam Darnold at any point over the last 6 years have been fired. Kevin O'Connell was given Sam Darnold and won 14 games and was playing for the number 1 seed in the NFC bracket in week 18. And so he's probably not even supposed to be in the playoffs with Sam Darnold. And then we're going to sit here and trash him for being a big game loser coach. It's kind of like the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan argument. And by the way, I do think, give me Michael Jordan, but LeBron James, to his credit, took some teams. Yeah, well, that's about the only thing me and Skip have in common based on the news
got a lot of money,
this
man.
week.
That's what we found.
Boy, we all have $1.5 million.
Got a lot of disposable income, so to speak.
But like, LeBron James took a couple teams to the NBA Finals that had no business being in the NBA Finals, and then they get beat by like a dynasty Spurs team. People are like, "Oh, see, Michael never lost in the finals." Okay, so would it have been better for LeBron to not have even gone, so you don't clown him for that? Like, would it have been better for KOC to not even take the Vikings to the Week 18 game against a Lions team that's the best team in the NFL? He can't win a big game. What? He won 4. Why is he even in that game with 14 wins? Because he's an awesome coach.
So what is the line? What is the line that has to be crossed where you become a suspect big game coach? So like, if I'm not mistaken, Denny Green lost because he took the Vikings to the playoffs in his first year in 92. He lost in 92, 93, 94, I believe. They didn't go in 95. And then he was going to get fired, and he won in 96. So, like, what do you consider to be the line at which you say, you know what, this coach has some very questionable big game strategies or just a lack of success?
It was 97 was that Giants onside kick game. And then the next year was 98. Yeah, I think it's kind of like, you know what, when you see it, it's hard to say, well, it's exactly this if you go 0-3. It's, context is so important because, like I said, you literally, what bizarro world are we living in 6 or 9 months ago? Again, go back 9 months. If I said, hey, so the Vikings are going to play a non-home playoff game with Sam Darnold up against Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and the Rams. Or they're going to be playing the Lions with the division on the line with Sam Darnold. Wouldn't you be like, holy crap?
I'd be like, no, they're not.
What kind of coaching job is that?
I'd say, stop smoking the weed before the show starts, damn it.
So I don't know. Like if it gets to be, all right, we're 5 years into this thing and he's 0-5, bunch of one and dones, or 0-4 in the playoffs.
Bunch of quarterbacks too.
Visit. Yeah, or McCarthy's turns out to be a bust.
Yeah, like if it goes Cousins, Darnold fails, and then McCarthy does, then I think you've got some questions, but I'm not even close to that yet, so sorry.
So here is some what I think is valid KOC criticism, and this is from Alex Pichetti, our guy Alex. He says, I have a major problem with our head coach, and I think it's something we need to address. We're in year 3 now, and I still have just as many worries about the running game or perhaps the running scheme under Kevin O'Connell. There are a few ways we can go here. When I look at Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, I would put Matt LaFleur in that category too. Those guys call great running schemes that anyone can step in and succeed. Raheem Mostert, Isaiah Guerrero, Jeff Wilson, like these running backs are just popping off. They know how to find ways to open lanes and gain consistent yards on the ground. And then there's the McVay way, where McVay found his bell cow in Kyron Williams. He had 340 touches this year, 26 touchdowns on the ground the last 2 years. The past 2 years, McVay's Rams have 33 rushing touchdowns to the Vikings 16. Yep. I think the Bills have like 30 rushing touchdowns this year, which is crazy.
Yep.
You can blame the interior of the line. You can blame the running backs themselves, but this is year 3 of the same problem. The Vikings might go buy a left guard. They might go get a running back high in the draft. When it comes down to it, KOC needs to admit that the running game is a major aspect of offensive football, and if he doesn't stop treating it simply like a necessary evil, I think we're going to have a lot of regular season success, but a lot of head-scratching, frustrating, big game, and playoff losses in his tenure.
Now we're talking. That's
Alex fair.
Pichetti,
That is fair.
That is 100% fair. That is 100% fair, and he's right. In the playoffs, guess what? You got to be able to run that ball. You got to be able to run that ball. Fair criticism. Alex Pichetti, thank you. You're exactly right. And, and look, they went and got Aaron Jones to improve there. And I think the reality is, yes, he is an upgrade, but unfortunately, 1, he's hurt or banged up. He's not like hurt, but he's banged up a lot. And 2, it does feel like Kevin O'Connell ditches the run game at the first sign of trouble, which is not in the playoffs a reasonable thing. Like, you can't just be like, well, that red zone run didn't work. I mean, 4 trips into the red zone on Sunday, 2 field goals and 2 times the ball lost on downs. And I believe it was Darnold threw something like 11 passes, and I think they attempted 3 runs.
Yeah.
So, yes, it needs to change. It should change starting on Sunday. I know that O'Connell wants to bail when it doesn't go well, but the run game is all about patience, right? You've got to have patience, and he doesn't, and that hammers home probably Kevin O'Connell's biggest flaw as far as a play caller and as far as flat out right now a game day coach.
Yeah, it's a little soft, and there's some personnel things in there. I mean, Dalton Reisner, for instance, really good pass protector as now a right guard. Not the most agile out in space. All right, we're going to call a zone scheme. You got to get out there. Like, he's just he's a big pocket passing, protecting mauler who is not as great out there on skates. And Blake Brandel, too, kind of started off really well, and it looks like he's regressed. I don't know if there's an injury in there. But they do need to shore up interior offensive line for sure. Running back, Aaron Jones is fine, but he's 30 years old.
It's too old.
Cam Akers has 2 blown Achilles.
Well,
it's but yeah, schematically, some of the creative things that you see, and Booney and Serials have broken this down too for us, even on the Trenches episodes. It's just there's some back to the whiteboard stuff that needs to happen. Can you win a Super Bowl going through the road and not really running the football in the red zone inside the 5, not being able to score a touchdown from the 2-yard line running the ball? Probably not.
Yes. If you have a run game on Sunday, you score at least one of those 4 trips, I think.
Yeah, maybe even a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny Fairbanks chimes in. Says, I'm really surprised to hear you guys call this game a coin flip. Minnesota has been a far better team throughout the year. than the Rams, having a point differential of plus 100. The Rams have the worst point differential in the playoffs at minus 19. If the Vikings drop this game, it's embarrassing. Please, please, I'm begging you guys, if they drop this game, do not go easy on the Vikings. KOC is walking on water around here. He doesn't have a playoff win to his name. We kind of went over earlier this week why the minus 19 thing is a little deceiving, because the Rams racked up about minus 50 of that in the first 5 weeks. They were 1-4 to start the season, and Puka Nacua went down for a chunk, and then they got beat by the Seahawks in Week 18 just playing backups. So that's 5 of their losses and most of their plus minus. If you look at the meat of the season for them, November and December, they were very, very, very good. And you saw it firsthand, the Vikings win in there. Thursday game, kind of weird. Nacua came back as a surprise. But, yeah, are they the Rams? No. Are they the Bills or the Chiefs? No. But this is a much better Rams team than the 10-7 record and the minus 19 point differential point out. Yep. Do I think the Vikings are better? Yes. Should the Vikings take some heat and criticism if they don't win a playoff game? Yeah. But, like, let's be careful. Circumstances and context matter here, and the Rams are better than people think, and the Vikings have Sam Darnold as a tricked-up Frankenstein as their starting quarterback.
I will say this. Give me one game. Give me Monday night, Rams and Vikings. Give me one of those two QBs in a playoff game, and I'm taking Stafford.
What about coach?
Oh, I would probably take McVay. He's won a Super Bowl. I've seen him do it. I just know more. So yeah, no, but I'm with you. To your point from a couple of days ago, first of all, what happened 2 months or more ago has nothing to do with this game. And yeah, I think the Rams, as far as a playoff team, if you think the Vikings are a superior team and should kick butt, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to be very disappointed.
I'll take the Vikings defense. The Rams defense has been a lot better in December going into that Week 18 meaningless game. But if you did a tail of the tape here, coach, Rams, quarterback, probably Rams.
Yeah, I think it's Rams.
Running game, Rams.
Keep going. Yep.
So
2 wide receivers. Like the Vikings have great ones, but the Rams ain't.
It's not a big gap.
Not bad. And I think I would take the Rams defensive line. Now, the Vikings play a 3-4, and obviously the guys outside linebackers are really, really good. But yeah, I think if you do a tail of the tape, I don't think it's like this clear-cut check Vikings.
It's very 50-50, Johnny Fairbanks.
Skull some more. Yeah, I don't think it works like that.
Sorry. I mean, last year that Rams team had to go to Detroit, and it was that fun Stafford versus Goff matchup. Yep. And on Wild Card Week, it was very eerily. It was similar to this. Now that Lions team was obviously going into last year was a 2 seed. They were a better team than this Vikings team, but it was a very similar story that we're talking about here. And Dan Campbell bested Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. Again, it was in their home building. It wasn't just a complete upset by any means, but that was the first win that kind of put the Lions on a fast track to now where they are now. And we just talked about KOC maybe getting the respect and not getting the respect he deserves. Well, if he goes and beats his former boss and former guy that he helped win a Super Bowl, now we're talking about the KOC getting the respect that he deserves.
Yeah, we're getting slashed in the comments here a little bit. Scared Daily. Is this Scared Daily or Purple Daily?
I'll put this in Megan. What have we said that's scared?
And then Mackie already building his excuses for KOC. Classic Mackie. I think we're just stating some facts here that put the game into context. I guess if there's some other shows and podcasts that are telling you why the Vikings are going to steamroll this Rams team by 21 points. And if they don't, then heads need to roll. But that's not my Vikings worldview going into this game. Josh Jensen says, the thought occurred to me that this season is set up for a movie-like script, even more so than if the Vikings had won that game against the Lions. If they happen to bounce back in earnest, it plays out like a movie. Right now, we're at that point 3/4 of the way through a film where everything that was looking promising is suddenly upended by a nemesis. that we all thought was conquered. While demoralizing, the comeback would be all that more epic now in the final quarter of the movie. Could a downtrodden leader now pick himself up and slay the dragons that have previously been this team's undoing? Even the opponents would be a perfect script. Having gone from losing to Detroit straight to losing to LA before, taking out LA before then taking out the monster of Detroit would be climactic for sure. And then this would be followed by an NFC Championship game in Philly, redemption from 2017. It would almost be too perfect. I'm not necessarily predicting this, but it could play out like a movie. Maybe J.J. McCarthy could give Sam Darnold a crash course in mindfulness to turn the script in a positive direction. I love the way Josh is thinking here.
This is the most, from all of the Feedback Fridays, this is the most, just the pendulum is swinging from note to note. Fire KOC. KOC sucks. Turn up
if
the
they
heat.
lose,
it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a movie. It's like Carl Anthony Towns against the Hawks. We are all over the map. All over the map.
Oh, man. You know what's like a movie? When the folks from MSP Plumbing and Heating slow motion walk cinematically into your home. That's
absolutely true. In fact, okay, roll the B-roll, and you guys yuck it up because the guy walking in is going to look like Declan.
This has to be the last time we do this, right? Because or is this the other
I'm just waiting
for
it to happen. There's Declan.
I'll send
There's
you Declan. But yes.
But you know what? He's there. He is there not to produce a show. Oh, podcasts are great. But what's more important is that your home is safe and sound and warm. And my friends at MSP Plumbing, Heating and Air will take care of that. For over a quarter of a century, families have relied on MSP for all their plumbing, drains, heating, and cooling needs. As a 100% family-owned and operated business, MSP committed to taking care of your family. Right now, by the way, get $50 off any HVAC or plumbing repair. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callmsp.com, callmsp.com. So if that furnace, it's real cold outside, is starting to go, starting to cough a little bit, you're a little bit concerned, call msp.com to make sure it's working.
Also, hey, welcome to winter grimy season here, where you're driving around and you're like, man, I can barely see out my windshield. Make sure you have an extra bottle or two of Splash windshield washer fluid. We're basically from like right now until probably March or April, the next few months. It is tough to see clearly while driving. The people in front of you, they're spraying dirt up from the freeway. And
last night.
Yeah, Splash windshield wiper fluid can make sure you see clearly and safely on the road. Make sure you have a couple extra bottles. Changes in the weather from week to week, from day to day. And also, it's just harder to get your car washed when it's like 0 degrees. Not to mention our favorite jingle. Apply a little splash when your windshield's getting dirty. Just apply a little splash. That's right. Splash windshield wiper fluid.
Splash, splash.
Okay, back to the comments here.
Okay, let's get serious again. People are very upset.
Chris K says, guys, I'll preface this to say that none of my close friends or family feel as passionately about their hometown sports teams as I do. So I figured I'd make it on Feedback Friday here. I'd make you guys and the listeners have to listen to my polemic. Last Sunday's game is the prime example of why there will always be negative Vikings fans who doubt no matter how well the team is doing, and why the Stephen A. Smiths of the media world will never take us seriously. Never before in history have we seen a franchise time and time again build their supporters' hope up to the stratosphere and then have the rug pulled out in the most extravagant ways possible. And he lists a bunch of different years where that happened. Mm-hmm. Just unfathomable levels of doom, perfectly encapsulating the most successful professional men's sports team to never have won a championship. Sunday's debacle against the Lions should convince everyone that the only way Kevin O'Connell brings the Lombardi to our trophy case is if every single facet of the team's play is consistently and resiliently perfect.
Again, we are.
Oh, man.
This is a lot of therapy right now. This is a lot of therapy. Okay, let's unpack that. Let's unpack that, because I know it's been tough. I know it's tough. It's very hard at times to be a Vikings fan, and Sunday didn't help. But that being said, it's a first-round playoff game, first of all. It's a first-round playoff game. And I think you're getting too worked up right now for a first-round game. You see, this is the problem. As disappointing as this game was, let me reference the 2015 campaign, okay? As difficult as the Blair Walsh game was, because the Vikings should have won, and I know that. I feel like we need to compartmentalize our feelings here. I feel like they all get thrown in the same bin. If you make it to an NFC championship game and you lose a close heartbreaker, 98, 2009, definite problem. Like, that's going to linger, okay? If you make it to a conference title game and you get blown out, that sucks. But it, in my opinion, is nowhere near in the same bin as a close loss there. And then, like, on Sunday, or 2015, it sucks to lose, and it sucks to lose a game that you feel like your team should have won. But I don't think it goes in either bin of, like, you won 2 rounds. Or in so, do you get my point here? I feel like we need to sort of, like, unpack our Vikings feelings a little bit.
Yeah, but every time something happens, it is, it's a pressure cooker. Like, if you open that thing up a little bit, even the steam comes blowing out at your face.
But I feel like that's adding to the angst. Like, every bit of it.
But the Vikings are adding to the angst year by year by year.
I'm trying to help people with their feelings.
I know.
Like, I'm a therapist here. I'm trying to help people. I can't help the Vikings.
You're also using logic in a world where emotion reigns.
In a world.
And if you're a Vikings fan of 20 years, 40 years, or all 65 years, you have zero reference points of going through the tumultuous nature of a season and having the pot of gold be there at the end, right?
Yep.
So there are no examples. Zero. If you go look at other franchises, like the Steelers, for instance. Oh, man, remember that one time where our backs were against the wall and then our running back had a miracle catch, although they didn't win the Super Bowl that year. What was against the Raiders, the immaculate reception, right?
Yeah.
Or that time where, the Patriots, man, that one time where it was snowing a lot and it looked like we were going to lose, and then we won and made a kick, and then we went on to upset the Rams.
The Tyree catch for the Giants on his helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, even when things look super bleak, because we are Patriots fans and Steelers fans and Packers fans, we know that every once in a while there is a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. We just have to be patient and chill out for a second and relax, as a quarterback once said. There are no reference points like that for the Vikings. The most perfect Vikings team in my lifetime, the 1998 team, didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. So on one hand, I totally empathize with this line of thought and angst. On the other hand, I do think, to Judd's point, we need to categorize and maybe temper expectations based on circumstance. We're like, if you're going into these playoffs thinking they have to win a Super Bowl or I'm going to quit being a fan and be devastated, do you really objectively think that this Vikings team should be expected to win a Super Bowl more than the Chiefs, who are in the middle of a dynasty, more than the Bills, who are next in line, more than the Lions, who are better, right? Like, so that's why I think this is a free roll. Every win from this point forward this year is gravy. Unexpected success. And if they go on to win the whole thing, awesome. What a fun way to finally pop the bubble with a random ass quarterback, just like the franchise has had for 30 plus years. So that's my therapy.
The fact that we don't have, to your point, the reference points though, is why we make the big bucks. Because if you're hosting Steelers Daily, you don't have to say what we just said, because they've got these, championships.
Yeah, guys, calm down. Remember when Santonio Holmes or whatever? Yeah.
So this is why this is a calling from God for us to try to help out.
Who caught that pass? Was it Santonio Holmes or was it Plaxico against the Cardinals? Didn't they win
Santonio Holmes.
Oh, the one in the corner of the end zone from...
are you talking about the
Steelers,
Super Bowl? The
against
Steelers and Cardinals? Yeah, that was Santonio Holmes.
Santonio Holmes? Okay.
Plaxico, I believe, caught the one against the Patriots.
And then he could have
with
bullet his
Giants
leg
and
from it.
Patriots. Yeah, and then
He was
Shot
just
himself
carrying
in
a
the
gun,
leg.
just carrying a gun in his sweatpants. Who doesn't do that?
Robbie B says, "Hey Dex, as a fellow Justin Herbert skeptic, I had a question for our resident Herbert stan. I guess that would be me. I'm going to bring Judd into this too. We can both answer. Would Mackey and Judd trade Kevin O'Connell and J.J. McCarthy for Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert right now? I think Mackey might short circuit having to even pick between these, as he's shown a history of being all in on every guy involved in this question. Thank you, sir." Wow. KOC and McCarthy for Harbaugh and Herbert.
No, I would not do that.
No,
I'm not
me,
trading
dog.
KOC for Jim is, he's done a great job, but I think that O'Connell, in my opinion, is going to have way more of a shelf life because, in Harbaugh's case, he's proven he gets to a place, he does a fantastic job. And eventually, now I think in Michigan he extended it because the roster, he's recruiting kids, and that now is a mess. But no, I would not make that trade. I do like O'Connell a lot, and I think McCarthy's going to be good.
Objectively, Jim Harbaugh is a more established NFL head coach than Kevin O'Connell. Has had much more high level and playoff success than Kevin O'Connell, and much like O'Connell, is great at taking something that probably shouldn't be 10 or 13 wins and making it into 10 or 13 wins.
Yep.
And objectively, Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy is right now.
Yep.
So the only reason why you wouldn't make this trade is if you think playing the future bet here that over the next 5 or 10 years, KOC is going to be around longer and J.J. McCarthy is going to turn out to be really good and be on a rookie scale deal. But it's a great question. I mean, right now, Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert are objectively the better tandem than Kevin O'Connell and J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah. No
but
question about it.
Jim is a lot older, doesn't have as much of a shelf life, and Herbert is $50 million more expensive.
There you go.
I would slightly lean. I believe in KOC long term and J.J. McCarthy. So I would risk it. No, I would risk it and roll with KOC McCarthy.
All right.
But it's a great question.
I thought you were going to make the trade.
Curious what the comments are saying.
Why don't we trade for the 85 Bears, Kevin McCarthy says.
Tony Hauschild? Tony H.
Tony H. There
chimes in. Have you heard you and the boys discussing the status of J.J. McCarthy's knee, and you all seem to question whether he would be ready for the 2025 season? There were stories saying that Aiden Hutchinson could be ready by the Super Bowl coming off a serious leg injury. And Cam Akers returned after a torn Achilles in 5.5 months for the Rams a few years ago. I am admittedly aligned with Thor in my desire for the Vikings to stick to their original plan and have JJ at the helm. So maybe that's clouding my objectivity, but why is there questions about JJ's availability in 2025? I don't know. I think we all agree he's going to be ready to start the season.
Yeah, I think we questioned his availability for the start of the off-season camps, which is
like OTAs. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think we all think that he should be set to go for the first day of training camp. Now, the Hutchinson thing, I keep hearing that, and let's explain that. He broke his leg. It was bad. It was gruesome. But a broken leg, you put a cast on it, and it heals. A knee ligament of sorts is a more dicey thing, potentially. Yeah. So, like, if you break your leg, I think
break his neck.
If you're a professional athlete, they do surgery to reset it, but then it's put in a cast and heals. The knee takes way more actual work behind the scenes, I believe. So anyway, but yes, we said for the off-season camps, I think we all expect McCarthy to be set to go in July.
Yeah, I mean, I guess long-term, is it a little worrisome that he's already having these knee procedures? And
sure.
A little bit, but Frank Marino says, hey, just a reminder, this is from a previous interaction with Frank, that if Detroit wins a Super Bowl before we do, that Judd agreed to take the three of us, Dex, Phil, and Frank Marino, to Manny's for steak dinners.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great. Yeah,
I don't remember Judd saying that, but
I don't either.
I'm going to trust Frank.
I don't recall that, but I'm sure I did at some point. It might have been a couple of years ago now when Detroit was just starting to spark up a bit. But yeah, no, I would love to take you guys. I'll pick you up, and if Frank pays, that'd be awesome.
You're gonna pick me up. Oh,
there's the.
You see the semantics? No,
wait. So you're offering to pick Dex up in Woodbury, but then you draw the line at paying, or did I mishear you? Is Frank picking us up?
No, I said.
What are you offering?
I'll pick you all up.
Okay.
The car's clean. Wow. I'll pick you all up. It needs to be vacuumed, but it's clean.
So it's not clean.
And then it has no stuff rolling around in it like my previous cars did. But it does need to be
it does. Like, my car's clean. Definitely needs to be vacuumed.
It can be set. My point is, like, the back seat empty, so it's feasible to sit in there. But yeah, that's a good. I will say, feet. Good question,
Jed. I'm not gonna air out where you live, but
they know.
If Park Tavern.
At Park Tavern. But let's just say on the Google Earth Maps, when you type in an address,
yep,
you are visible outside your house on the Google Maps.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. I think I was getting back from training camp. I think it's a shot when I was getting back from training camp
incredible.
In Mankato. Yeah, well, it's because I'm outside. You know me.
Hello.
I love the outdoors.
Yes, you do.
And I like my neighbor, so I waved him. Hello.
Is he walking by like Sasquatch? Or
he's literally like closing his trunk. Like he's in a freeze frame of closing his trunk.
I think it's back when I had the Saturn Ion, and I think I'm getting back from training camp. So it was probably like 2013 or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
August. Yeah,
it's very old. It's great.
Is wearing shorts or we're wearing long pants? Shorts?
I think I'm in shorts. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I've seen it.
Oh, man.
Why are you typing my address in? Is really
because when question. You made me order you a microphone, I wanted to make sure that it was the right house.
I paid on that. I gave you an extra 20 for that.
You did. I was just confirming that this was the right house.
You paid an extra $20 for Dex to order you something off Amazon?
Yep.
Yeah.
And ship it to his house.
Well, but he also he got me the mic, but he also bought me a nice case.
Right, but like he could have. What if he sends you those two links, or even just the microphone link?
Yep.
Are you afraid that from that point you will fumble the ball in such a way that
I don't want to type my credit card stuff in?
So, but you're cool with Dex doing it, okay?
Well, but he's got it. But like he's got his stuff in there. Like he probably has a card on file with them. Cards multiple on file.
Cards. Yeah.
And I don't. Yeah. And I basically just use my cash card, and I don't want to type my cash card into that because then I'm concerned that it might get stolen in some type of theft ring thing.
So do you not have like you don't have your information, payment information online at all whatsoever? Anywhere.
I think I've done it a couple times to buy stuff, but I don't like to.
Okay.
But Dawn does. But then I would have had to get her to buy the stuff. And I didn't.
And then that's a whole conversation.
And that's a whole conversation. And plus, I just got that mic back in June, but unfortunately, I didn't have a case, and it rummaged around. And the
you just threw money at the problem.
So I just threw money at the problem. Yes.
Order these for me.
It was an extra $20.
Ship them to my house. Yeah.
You know what? It was a small price to pay for the convenience, and now I've got a mic to travel with, and I got a very nice case. Yes. Dry dock. In some ways, yes, I am. In some ways, I'm not. In some ways, I definitely am. I'm not a boomer, Lucas. I'm not even close to being one.
You're Gen X.
I'm Gen X. I believe the boomers were 1940 something to 65. I'm 4 years out, so I am not a boomer.
You're kind of you're like an older Gen X.
And to be clear, though, we need to clear something up here because I feel like the younger generation doesn't get this. The boomers had a lot of fun. Like the boomers.
I don't think anyone denies
now,
that.
But they were tearing up the 60s, folks.
Yeah, 70s. I think we all agree that the boomers had fun in their day. And boomer also is just used. They don't care if you're actually a boomer. If you're even if you look a little old or act a little old,
you're
gonna get called a boomer.
See, that's
by association.
I don't know. I don't like that.
Let's see here. I think we got one more. We'll get to our snake draft. Jarrett Cochran says, my hot take is if we get beat in the first round, we will see Justin Jefferson start showing signs of wanting to move on from the Vikings. Even after his big payday, I think he hates losing that much. I told you the comments were wild this week.
Yes.
It is crazy, man.
because we get the big bucks, I'm going to entertain this and say that's not going to be a problem. Don't worry about it. We went through this last year. Kirk leaves. Justin Jefferson, until he melts down and does a diva pivot, is as unwide receiver like as you can get.
Unless they lose to the Rams.
But he's excited about McCarthy too. Like
he only gets 4 targets, 1 catch, and gets three sailed passes in the red zone. I don't know.
Now, the guy that might get frustrated at some point is Addison. I could see that.
Yeah, he's already been frustrated.
Right.
The free
so about his
stuff.
role. Yeah. So about his role. But Justin Jefferson is as team-oriented as I've ever seen a star receiver be.
Here's what's on the line. I just opened the Prize Picks app. Justin Jefferson, 89.5. You can select more or less. If it's less than 89.5, he demands a trade. You heard it here first. Demands a trade the day after the game. Prize Picks to be with his guy. To the Browns to be with Kirk.
Oh, okay.
In 2000. Although, did you see that Terry Fontenot came out yesterday, Falcons GM, and said, we are comfortable moving forward with Kirk as our backup?
Yes.
Has anyone consulted with Kirk on that?
Sure about that?
Yeah, sure about that?
I hate to pile on now. I'm just not going to pile on.
You can win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks, and it's super easy. You jump on the Prize Picks app. You select between 2 and 6 players. You got college football playoffs tonight, NBA, NHL, golf season now that it's January. You pick more or less on their projected stats, and you place your entry. Super easy. Download that Prize Picks app, use the code PURPLEDAILY, and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's Prize Picks app, code PURPLEDAILY, and you get $50 instantly when you play just $5. Also, before we get to our snake draft of the week, North American Banking Company on board for the 2025 calendar year here on Purple Daily. So I had a terrible banking experience recently with a national bank that shall go nameless, at least for now, till I feel like pulling back the curtain. It's like I couldn't get a hold of a human. The technology was shockingly subpar in the online communication.
If you need help, please press 5.
Please press 14.
If you need help, bleep you, press 6, and we'll dump your call.
I just want to talk to a human, and that's where North American Banking Company, which is rooted in the Twin Cities with those 6 metro locations, founded 1998 in the Twin Cities. They are here. They value personal relationships, cutting-edge online tools. Go to nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Some breaking news from Ian Rappaport. Deshaun Watson has ruptured his Achilles again.
What? Oh, jumping around on TikTok like an idiot?
He may now miss all of 2025.
They're going to void his contract. They're going to find some way to void part of this contract.
How much are they celebrating behind the scenes in Cleveland?
It's so convenient for the Browns. This is so convenient. Wow.
Interesting.
Well, that strengthens your Kirk Cousins to Cleveland.
Tore his Achilles again. Well, maybe he stopped getting massage treatment that might have helped with that Achilles for good reason. Let's get to a snake draft of the week here.
All right.
Kevin Stefanski, very happy right now.
So we had a bunch of great requests. We will do Super Bowl party foods in a couple of weeks. We had some NFL mascots was one of them. We'll put that on the list. But one of them that came in last week, buddy cop movies.
That's good. This is a good one.
And this might be there might be some gray area of you. You know it when you see it.
I did some research. There's some definite gray. There
were
things I've never thought of as buddy cop films listed in the best buddy cop films.
Yeah. Like usually it's 2 cops working together, but it could also be 2 people looking to like solve a crisis or a problem, or maybe they're even like rivals that are kind of working together.
Can it be like a cop and a PI? Like can it be two? Okay, so it doesn't have to be. Okay.
It could. Well, make sure. I don't want to give away my big board, but it could also be just in the realm of enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the last handful of snake drafts, we've done hot sauces, Christmas movies, lunch meats. Dex, do you have the standings, the updated
Age has not updated them in a couple weeks, but I will say last week's hot sauce draft, which I do have pulled up here. Phil won, and decisively he won.
Let's go.
60% of the votes for Phil. I finished second at 28, Judd at 10 with spicy
ketchup.
I didn't. I tried.
That's Judd.
That's all I got to say about that. I tried.
Yeah, so I think Age has not. Let's see, Christmas movies. Mackie, you did win that one on 12/20. AJ is literally updating the spreadsheet as I'm speaking right now.
Okay.
So Mackie, I think you're 7 for 24. Judd is 11 for 27. These are how many wins and attempts. And then I'm 6 for 21. Wow. Highest percentage is still Phil with the Thanksgiving foods. The lowest percentage of victory, or lowest percentage of votes, was Phil's bar foods ahi tuna crisp draft. The largest margin of victory was Thanksgiving foods, and the closest margin of victory was Judd over Phil for the state fair foods at 0.4%.
Oh, man. You never know. So, yeah, the voting will take place on the Score North Twitter/X account shortly after this show is over. So, based on where we're at here, Judd gets the number 1 overall pick this week. Dex drafting number 2. I get the number 3 pick, and then the wraparound 3-round snake draft. Judd, you are on the clock.
I'm going old school right off the bat. I am going Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
I love Lethal Weapon. And by the way, the original, the second one's not bad, but the original is so good.
I should say, for those that aren't familiar, we did from like 2020 through 2022-ish, we did like 100 movie reviews. It was action movie rewind mostly, and then we included some other genres. So if you're interested, Apple, Spotify, do a search for Mackie and Judd movie reviews. And the three of us did Lethal Weapon, probably a bunch of movies that are going to be on this snake draft here. You know, the only thing about Lethal Weapon is they have that awkwardly long fight scene at the end of the movie.
I love that fight scene.
Where, like, the fire hydrant is... Right? Yeah, Gary Busey.
That's I love that.
But scene. there's like 20 police officers just standing around. They could just they could detain him at any time.
No, they want to kill him.
You want shot the
They want Riggs to kill him. I
questionable police methods in that movie.
It's Los Angeles cops. I mean, come on.
So, okay, Lethal Weapon goes number 1.
All right, so I have some options here with this top pick.
Diplomatic immunity.
This is a tough first option because I feel like I had my own personal choices like I had here, but I do know there's other ones on the board for the sake of wins. I mean, Die Hard classifies, right, as a buddy cop film.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's kind of because it's like it's one main cop, but he's working with Reginald Bell Johnson outside.
Yes. I did not think it did, but then on like 3 lists I looked at this morning, it qualifies.
We're gonna count it.
So I'm gonna take Die Hard.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Die Hard.
It's a little more fringe just because of the nature of it is. It's one guy.
He's sort of working solo, but then he does have the eyes on the ground.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah. Okay, so wow, you guys, a couple 80s classics right there.
Was that on your guys' list, by the way? Was Die Hard on your guys' list? Okay.
I put it on because I saw it, but I wouldn't have put it on from the top of my head when I originally did my list.
Okay, I'm gonna stick in the same era here because the 80s were just a prime time, and the 90s for buddy cop movies.
Easily the best.
So I got to go Beverly Hills Cop here.
Yep.
It's 3 buddies. It's 3 cops. You got Axel Foley and his 2 buddies. Judge Reinhold put on a classic performance. And then with the wraparound here, let's see.
People are suggesting Chips, the Chips movie, which was just awful.
Let's see here. I'm trying to see because I think I know one of them that Judd's going to go with. You know what? All right. Mm-hmm. You tell me if this is too much of a gray area because they're not really police officers.
Don't do it.
I'm going Men in Black.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a buddy cop.
They're like fighting aliens, right?
Yeah, they're buddy cops for the FBI, right? Like, aren't they working for the FBI?
It's some government agency.
This is a very broad snake draft.
Okay, give me Men in Black instead of fighting, crime, drug dealers. We're fighting aliens.
Okay,
and we're back to Dex here for his second pick.
I'm going to take a little bit more of a modern one. I love Rush Hour, the first one. Give me Rush Hour. Chris Tucker, man, love
Jackie
me some
Chan.
Chris Tucker. Jackie Chan's great. I actually, you know what? No joke. Like the second one does rival it for me. I almost picked Rush Hour 2 because I kind of do prefer that one more. But I'm just gonna go with the original. I'll go with Rush Hour. Love Chris Tucker. Sign me up.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Classic promo.
Great movie.
All right, back to Judd here. Back-to-back picks to round out the second round and start the third round.
All right, I'm going to stay in the 80s. Prime Murphy and Nick Nolte, another film that we did an action movie rewind of, 48 Hours.
Old school.
Very old school.
The dialogue in that movie does not necessarily hold up in 2025.
It does not.
It's uncomfortable.
It does not. But when Jack's partner gets his gun took and he's been shot, and he comes down the stairs and the bad guy's like, "Give me your gun, give me your gun." He's like, "Don't you do it, Jack. Don't you do it." And then Jack does, and of course the guy gets blown away. 48 Hours is my second pick. My third pick, again, a controversial one, but I don't care just because I love the film, is Point Break.
So you must have just strategized here because I'm shocked you waited to the third round to take it.
I didn't think you guys would take Point Break because it's fringe again. Like it's sort of a fringe one because it's sort of...
It's an undercover cop and a bank robber group.
Yeah.
That's where it's a little...
And Nick Nolte, though, who is the partner of the greatest Ohio State quarterback of all time, Johnny Utah. Because don't forget, he says, "Utah, 2, get me 2, Utah, 2. So anyway.
We should have Judd reenact a scene from all of these movies here.
Nick Nolte's great in that.
Bad Dad Joke says you've already got this one locked down. Let's see what Dex has with his.
How about that?
Right. I'm between two. They're both pretty modern, pretty recent. The two that I am between.
That's right.
Dave, you says Cool Runnings.
It's Gary Busey. Jeff, I'm sorry. Yes, it's not. Yes, it's Busey. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He's right.
One is definitely a true buddy cop film. The other one's a gray area that's more of a comedy, and that's the problem I'm struggling with here. Because I genuinely like these movies a lot. But I am really torn here. I'm gonna take 21 Jump Street.
No, that was gonna be mine. Dang it. Okay.
From 2012. From 2012. The Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. Yeah.
People are still pushing for chips. People are still pushing for the chips. Dak Shepard. That's right.
21 Jump Street is really good. That's really good.
We ain't finger popping each other's bleep holes. I love that line so much.
Okay, that leaves me with the last pick here, and it's kind of between. I'll just say it. It's between Bad Boys from the '90s.
Yep.
Great. And it's between the other guys from like 15 years ago.
Love that movie too. Very old.
And I feel like because I've got the '80s with Beverly Hills Cop. I've got Men in Black, which is very much 90s, right? I think I need to represent, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
I'll go with the other guys. Give me the other guys.
That's going to help you.
Okay.
Because people love that. I personally, I don't really like it that much. It's not one of my favorite movies. I should like it.
Are you not a Will Ferrell guy?
I like Will Ferrell. I'm actually fine with Will Ferrell. I know he's very polarizing. That movie doesn't do it for me. The other one I was going to take, and I was going to have to ask for gray area, was Pineapple Express.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. You put this in as an action movie back in the day, too. It's kind of a hard movie to categorize.
Yeah, I know, it is. And even, and I saw some comments on it, but, Superbad. Superbad has Bill Hader and Seth Rogen, and they're the buddy cops trying to, bust this part. Those two are the most important people in that film. They're the best roles. They wrote the movie, basically, I'm pretty sure. I almost picked Superbad because it's also it's probably my top 5 favorite movies of all time. But I don't know
that would have gotten you votes.
Severson says, "What about Paul Blart Mall Cop? Is that a buddy cop movie?"
Did we do that one?
No.
We didn't do Paul Blart? I thought maybe we did.
No, I'm okay with that too.
But here's the teams.
It's so bad, it's good.
Judd winds up with Lethal Weapon, 48 Hours, and Point Break. Dex with Die Hard, Rush Hour, and 21 Jump Street. And then I have Beverly Hills Cop, Men in Black, and the other guys. This might be a close one here.
We'll have to see.
So, okay, for the weekend on Purple Daily, because Vent Line's not going to be till Monday night. So here's what we have. We're going to give you an episode on Saturday where we talk about Daniel Jones and his status and just kind of the rumblings. Is he possibly the number 2 quarterback going into the playoffs on this roster? We can talk about that. We'll do our Purple Picks episode for Sunday, and then we will do a live stream at 9 a.m. on Monday morning, just recapping Wild Card Weekend up until that point before Vikings Vent Line on Monday night. So we're gonna fire hose you with at least 3 more episodes before we even get to the Vikings-Rams game on Monday night.
I hope that all of us have no plans too. The next 2 days are so juicy.
Strap in.
Saturday night. No, yeah. Saturday night I got plans. I am doing it's the second time we're doing the LAN Halo night with 12 guys. So we're going to have a TV on with the playoff game. Yeah. And then we have a big Halo, LAN part, 8 guys playing Halo. Very excited for it. Very excited for it.
Judd, are you popping over to Dex's house to play some Halo?
I don't even know.
Actually, it'll be in Northeast.
I don't even know
what
that. I don't even know.
Oh, you could just a short Uber ride.
I'm not even aware of what that is.
Love Halo.
I don't even know. I seriously don't know.
It's a big deal.
It's fine.
We'll send you the link for you to buy it online.
But you don't have. But you have plans to watch the game. What I'm saying is, I hope that we all have told family and friends that if we can't watch the game, it's not feasible to be bothered this weekend.
I would hope that we all fall in line with exactly the way Judd wants us to.
It's 5 playoff games in 2 days.
But Halo, dude, Halo is a classic, dude. It's one of the classic first person.
Some Capture the Flag, some Slayer, maybe some oddball mixed in.
This is a 3rd grade birthday party?
These are 32-year-old guys getting together in a house with pizza, booze, and football and Halo, man. It's the most manly thing in the world, in my opinion.
Get rid of the game, keep the football, keep the pizza, keep the booze. People don't need games.
You should live stream from your house on Saturday night.
Stella,
live on the Purple Daily
Dawn
YouTube
on the
channel.
couch. Me watching.
People want to know if you're playing online, if they can join in. I'll let you guys talk about that.
Yeah, that's it'll be a private party, so I unfortunately I don't think
so. You're too good for that.
Maybe we Twitch it. Maybe I can Twitch it.
We call this a family, but you're like, this family.
I'll Twitch it. We'll do a split screen. We'll have a Twitch live stream of Halo and then a live stream of Judd on his couch. You can watch both.
I don't wear jorts anymore. I used to wear jorts. Jorts used to be popular.
John Cena still wearing jorts for his 2025.
Derek.
A video game snake draft? Oh. Yes. It's just to see what Judd
picks.
Add
it to the list.
Pong?
Add it to the list.
Let's do it next week.
Pong. Intellivision had some great early sports games. Their hockey, the Intellivision hockey game was awesome.
I think we're gonna do that next week. A video game snake draft. Yes. Just to see. All right, we got to run Purple Daily, Daily Vikings Entertainment. Click that subscribe button, the like button. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.